Good morning, 7th grade. Today is June 5th. It's week 11 and it is the 5th day of the week. So just a reminder, today is the last day to submit any late or incomplete assignments. After today, you're expected to just keep up with your current assignments, but if you have any missing or incomplete assignments, today is the last day to submit those. Okay, so today we have an activity plan for you, pretty simple, still focusing on angles with algebra. So you'll see that you have, I'm just going to switch this actually, a Google form where you're going to answer the questions in the Google form, and then you also have a Google Doc, which is where you will show your work for the questions from the form. So you'll need to have the form up in order to answer the questions, because the questions are not on the doc. You will locate them on the form. So I'm going to click on that form just to show you. So you're going to be given parallel lines cut by a transversal, and you are asked to solve for x. You are only solving for x, you are not solving for the angle measure. So for number 1, I actually modeled it for you on the doc. I'll scroll up so you guys can see. So for number 1, I saw that the angles were alternate interior, which means they are congruent or equal in measure. Okay, so I set up my equation. One of the angles was 46, and the other angle was 3x plus 1. I set them equal to each other because they are equal in measure. And then I solved my equation by doing the inverse of -1, and then I divided by 3 to get x isolated, so x equals 15. So I know that it's light purple because if I go back to the form, where I see 15 degrees, it's light purple, so I would click that for my answer. And then for the coloring page, wherever you see a 1, you would color that space light purple. Okay, so I'm going to go through the form first, and then I'll give you your directions for how to color if you are able to, just because it's a little different than usual. So that was number 1 provided for you. Number 2 looks like this. So looking at these two angles, again, you're going to use the same understanding we did from Wednesday. First thing you want to do is identify the relationship. What's the vocabulary we would call these angles? So these angles are corresponding because there's one outside or exterior and one interior, and they're on the same side of the transversal. So since they are corresponding, they are equal in measure. So you would set your equation as 133 equals 6x plus 13. If you are not comfortable with the vocabulary, you could always do the dots, right? In a zigzag. So after I do my dots, I see that they both don't have a dot, which means they would be equal to each other. You would set it up, solve for x, and get your answer. Number 3 looks like this. So again, you're going to look at the diagram, decide what their relationship is. So I'm noticing that they are alternate exterior because they're on opposite sides. They're outside of the parallel lines, and they are non-adjacent. You can also do the dot test, right? Notice they both don't have a dot, so that means they are equal to each other. So this equation would be 15x minus 2 equals 12x plus 22. You would solve, get your value for x, and pick it on the form. Number 4 looks like this, which is a little different because this doesn't really look like any relationship we've discussed. So because it doesn't look like any relationship we discussed, I'm going to do the dot test just to see if they're equal or if they are supplementary. So let's see. Dot. All right, so now I see that this angle up on the top has a dot, and this angle over here does not. So that means that these are going to be supplementary. So for this one, number 4, your equation should be the top angle plus the bottom angle equals 180. Okay, these are just exterior angles with no other relationships, so they are supplementary to each other. Okay, number 5, if we look at number 5, these are similar to number 2. These we would call corresponding again because you have one outside, one inside. They're on the same side of the transversal. It's just slid down to the other line. So these are equal to each other. That means it should be 27x plus 10 equals 29x. Okay, moving on in the form. Number 6, let me get to it. Number 6 is similar to number 1 that I already modeled for you on the dock. So you can locate the work for that there. They are alternate interior, which means they are equal. Number 7 is similar to number 5 and 2. They are corresponding, which again means they are equal. So you would set it up, solve for x. Number 8. Number 8 is the one I just wanted to show you because that's kind of like number 4. Let me draw that for you real quick. Okay, so you have 11x plus 14, and then you have 8x minus 5. Now, looking at these, they don't have a relationship that we went over with our vocabulary. They're just inside of the lines. If I do my dot test, I see that this one has a dot, this one does not have a dot, which means they add to 180. So this equation should be 11x plus 14 plus 8x minus 5 equal to 180. You would solve your equation and get that value for x, okay, and pick it on your form. Number 9 is similar to your alternate exterior angles. I just erased it to remember which one that was, but they are equal in measure. Number 10 is similar to the one I just showed you, the interior angles, which means they add to 180 degrees. Okay, the last thing I just want to go over with you, on the dock, I expect to see the work to get that value for x. If you do want to color the picture, it's a little different than what we normally have. So I'm just going to zoom in. See how this triangle has a 1 in it? And we just determined that 1 is light purple. For the coloring, you color this triangle and then you color the outside triangles of the octagon. So there should be 8 triangles in total that you color light purple to make that circle around. And then you'll see on the inside there's a number there. You would color it according to number 6's color that corresponds with the answer. Okay, for number 2 here, let's just say it was green. I don't even know if that's a color. You would color these 8 triangles around, okay, for the coloring purposes. If you can't color digitally or if you don't have the supplies at home, this is only an optional part of the assignment. But you have to show me the work in the Google Doc, okay? All right, guys, stay safe. Take care.